Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Hello Storytime. Lightning Jesse with none other than Sidecar Scout. Scout, I just wanted to take a moment and say thanks for being such a good co-host. Well, we're going to keep the storytelling adventures moving now with a story I found at the Venice Public Library. The public library is a great place to find books because they're free, and a lot of people have read them before. They're sort of like recycled books. Pretty cool. So today we are reading Caps for Sale, a tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler carrying wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First, he had on his own checked cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight as to not upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street, calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," he said, and he walked out of town slowly, as to not upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," thought he, and he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put up his hand to feel if they were straight. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. They were all there, so he went to sleep. He slept for a long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checked cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked in the back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey. On every monkey was a gray, a brown, or a blue, or a red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking a finger at them. "You give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." This made the peddler angry, so he shook both hands at them and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their hands back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." Now he felt quite angry. He stamped his foot and said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." At last, he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap, threw it on the ground, and began to walk away. But then each monkey pulled off his cap and all the gray caps and all the brown caps and all the blue caps and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. And slowly, he walked back to town calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" The end. What a cool story. Scout, did you enjoy that story as much as I did? What'd you like best about that story? How about a man that sells caps? Walking around with all the caps piled way up tall on his head. That's pretty awesome. And then the monkeys took all his caps. But it was like monkey see, monkey do. Whatever the man did, the monkeys did. So finally, when he took his cap off and threw it onto the ground, all the monkeys did the same thing. In the comment section, why don't you tell me what kind of pets you have? I have a dog. Do you have a monkey? Probably not. Do you have an iguana? Maybe. What about a gerbil? Or a goldfish? Or a cat? I know. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Hello Storytime. Lightning Jesse with Sidecar Scout signing out. What's that, Scout? Please subscribe, and we'll notify you every time we launch a new episode. Until next time,